Hi, I'm Danner. I'm a computer engineering student from Huntsville, Alabama. When I was a kid, my family built this shed in the hills of southern Tennessee. It sat dormant for nearly 20 years and began to deteriorate. I'm currently on a mission to restore the shed and convert it into an amazing tiny house. With the help of my dad, I'm learning the basics of construction, restoring the land, and documenting our story. This is Abandoned Shed to Tiny House. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. If you saw the last video, we did a bunch of walking around the land, figured out some cool trees that are on our property, and we also did a bunch of land clearing. And if you guys remember, a long time ago, we showed you guys our spring house. We have this old spring house that's just been abandoned for the last 20 years, and today we're actually going to be addressing that for the first time. We want to just go ahead and start getting trees out of there, getting some of the brush out of there. We already did do a little bit of chainsawing, but we really just want to start getting everything out of there before spring comes and everything starts growing up. So we got our bucket loaded up with chainsaws, clippers, just everything we need to start working on that. So yeah, let's go ahead, hop in the tractor, go down our new road, and just get to work on the spring house. Okay, so we just made it down our new road. This is actually the first time that this road's been cleared in 15 years, so it's really cool to be able to get a tractor down here and work on stuff. Before we get too far into clearing this stuff out, I just want to walk around and kind of show how it is right now and just check it out. Okay, so we're gonna start down here at the bottom of the spring. You can see all this water is actually from our spring, and this is about where Ryan ended last time with his mulcher. We already got a lot of stuff pulled over here. We did some chainsawing yesterday, and this is our burn pile, but let's just go ahead, start walking up the spring, and I'll let you guys see kind of what everything looks like right now. So this is kind of the area that we put most of the dents in yesterday, and this is all just from the spring running over the years. And you might notice as we walk around, there is a lot of trash sitting around everywhere. We got tires and whatever this thing is. This actually used to be an old dairy farm, and just all kinds of stuff just collected here over the years. So we want to work on getting some of this trash taken care of as well when we're getting rid of this stuff too.
Yeah, and like some of this stuff is, for example, this is for watering cattle down here. So this is an old concrete cistern to water cattle. I'm sure some of these other pots and things that you see, that was actually a hot water heater or a water heater. So, you know, a lot of this stuff is, you know, being functional. I'm not sure how all the tires got down here. We seem to have a lot of tires.
And shoes.
Yeah, and shoes. And this is a giant sugar maple that fell in the storm last year. And sugar maple is what Jack Daniel's uses for their charcoal mellowing process. So, you know, if you can think about it, this is our hollow. Jack Daniel's is about 15 miles away with a similar thing. Now they've got a cave spring with tons of water coming out, but it's the same kind of water, the same kind of terrain. So it's really cool to have something like this. We're gonna actually try to get some logs out of this. And I think we can, because it's been off the ground. It fell when it was alive, it got blown over. And so we'll see what we can get out of it.
Yeah, and I'm sure we have a few Jack Daniel's fans watching, so they probably will appreciate that too.
We need to go up there and tour at some point for everybody.
Now we are making our way to the spring house, and there is a huge tree that fell on it. We discovered that last year, and we did do a little bit of chainsawing already, but we haven't really cleared it out yet or checked it out.
Yeah, so in addition to all the trash we found, we've also dug up a lot of old milk containers and old mason jars that are all from the 30s and 40s. So we'll show you some of that stuff that we've got. and we'll end up probably using it in our kitchen to store food and store things.
Yeah, and I think my favorite part about those bottles is it says Fayetteville, Tennessee, which is a big town close to where we are, and it's kind of cool to have just a piece of history to put in the shed, just little milk jugs. And so this is the spring house, and I guess Dad, you worked on this probably 15 years ago when it was still working.
Yeah, actually a little bit longer. It's probably 2001 or 2 we put this pump in. I helped the people that owned this before, and he was, you know, like at that time probably 75 or 80 years old or something, and he would have to walk all the way up this hill every time this thing would clog, and I would help him out doing some of that stuff. But there's another, and we'll look at it in a minute, but there's another catch basin up here that probably goes back to the 1920s. So this spring, even though it's just sort of a seeping spring, it's running well today, but it's provided the families that have lived here and all the livestock water since the turn of the century. So there's definitely enough water for us. We're just gonna have to clear out all this stuff and rebuild it. And you know, I was really sad when we found this because I brought Danner down here. What's hard to see on camera is that during the summer, there's no way to even see this from the shed or from anywhere else. You can't see really more than about 15 feet most into the forest because it's so thick and dense. And so this time of year, when Danner walked for the first time, and we actually walked the fence line all the way around the 22 acres, he was blown away with how big it was. And we ended up here, and it was gonna be a surprise. And as we walked up, because you know there was a lot of debris here still, but as we walked up, I was just devastated.
It was destroyed, and it was like walking through a jungle over here with all these trees everywhere. So my dad told me we have a pump house on the land, and we were coming to check it out. I got really excited. Turns out a tree fell on it. but hopefully once we get this cleared out, I think it'll be looking beautiful down here. Of course, I don't really know what it looks like when it's cleared, but it seems like it'd be pretty. And so let's go up to where this spring is running over here real quick, check that out, and then we can start clearing this all out. So we have some running water over here, and then we also have a catch basin right over here in the ground. Okay, so right here we can see this is where we have the most water running. And I guess with the spring, you're pulling it from underground, right?
Yeah, so this pipe, this is one of the last ones that were used, but essentially it goes in underneath, and above there is a plastic membrane and a lot of rock and everything so that a lot of the water runs over, but there's also water that comes out the spring. And then that connects with a pipe that it goes down to the catch basin that was down below. And then over here, what's really kind of cool, I'm not sure that the camera will pick this up very well, but that's one of the original catch basins. And if I take this microphone and put this in here, you can hear that water is running. So it's really, that's actually one of the original ones. You can see how they use this tin to allow the water to run off and shed past it, and then there's some pipe underneath. So we'll end up digging out all of this stuff. There's a lot of slate here that you can think about Tennessee rock and Tennessee flat rocks. There's a lot of slate and a lot of sandstone, and really there's stuff all over the place that we can use for construction for various things, walls, other kinds of things. But it's really kind of nice to have all of this stuff here.
Yeah, so I guess we'll end up redoing a lot of this. Do you think we will try to reuse the old spring house, or?
I really don't know. I mean, there's cinder blocks there that we can use. We may. We certainly should rebuild it, if nothing else, so that we have it here for sort of history's sake. But
we can turn it into a tiny house.
Right, that's right.
Abandoned spring house to tiny house.
There you go.
All right, so now we're just gonna head back to the bottom and just work our way up, start clearing it, grab some chainsaws and put some stuff in our burn pile. So let's go ahead and head down there.
Ready? Press.
That was the money shot.
It was. Except where I slid.
I didn't push it out enough.
And I fell.
You good?
Huh? Yeah.
Oh, so much for that money.
Yeah, well, we can do the dad falls shot.
I need this.
This thing's so heavy. I was gonna cut it one more time.
This thing going down.
There's the door finally. Here's the door.
Just a little door.
Yeah, I think it was off of like a container or something.
Just whatever you had.
Yep. Yeah, there's something that was there. There's a clothes.
You can see the pump over here. Pretty good too now.
Well, let's see if I can dig in.
A little digging.
There was a frame in here at some point, but I don't know where that ended up. Right there was the pressure gauge. See, that's better days. There's the pressure gauge. You can see that they used metal pipe as reinforcement around the edge. I should have brought a shovel. I thought about it and I forgot. Oh, look at that.
Oh, there you go.
Probably still works. Although it's got water in it, but it could.
Put it on our restoration channel.
So the way this works is that this thing's pumping water in, and this went to the house, and as soon as they would turn in the faucet, it would lower the pressure, turn this pressure switch on, and that would trigger the motor to run. So it would run every single time they turned on the faucet. Right, this little pot was in here, and he would use that to scoop out stuff that would build up. And then of course, these were liners, inner tubes and liners that he would use to dam stuff up.
This is definitely the most clear I've ever seen it. The first time we came in here, we were having a tough time just getting to the spring house. We were just going through stuff. It was like a jungle out here, and this is a lot better. There's still some little stuff that we'll have to pick up. We're gonna keep working on it, and as we keep clearing out all this debris, should be fresh by the summer, be looking good and running. Then we'll slowly work our way up the hill and just keep clearing it out. We also have huge logs everywhere that we have to figure out what to do with. We'll probably mill this one, but it's just so huge. I don't even know how we're gonna deal with that. So that's gonna be a project for another day. A lot of hard work. Me and Dad are both exhausted. All right, guys, well, I think that's gonna be a wrap for this video. Big shout out to the Patreons and everyone who subscribed, liked the video. Really appreciate your support. And that's gonna be a wrap. So I'll see you guys in the next video.